It's official. It's finally here. It's the first episode of the Before the Score podcast. I'm Steve Samra.
I'm Dan DeLucia.
I'm Pablo Hernandez.
That's very funny. I'm Andrew Morgan.
Those roles are reversed, in case you don't see this on video. But this is the first episode. Big thanks to Eric Springfield and his band Breath Before Death for our theme song. And we're going to get right down to business here on Before the Score.
Let's do it.
Gerrit Cole signed with the New York Yankees.
Lead us off, Pablo. We know how much of a Yankee fan you are.
All right. Well, first off, I'm going to start off by saying I'm very impartial. And of course, I love this deal for the New York Yankees, but it's just overall an amazing deal for for Major League Baseball.
It's an amazing deal for pitchers in general.
Oh my God.
$325 million.
$324 million, Steve.
It's insane.
And as a Yankee fan, like I am myself, this is an unbelievable commitment to a pitcher who's 29 years old, giving him 9 years.
Top 3 pitcher in the league right now.
Top 2, honestly.
Top 2. Yep.
Top 2.
I would put him second.
I honestly, I would put him second only because of Jacob deGrom. Back-to-back Cy Youngs. But in terms of who had a better season, I think Gerrit Cole had a way better season. Honestly, I think he was robbed of that Cy Young.
Well, I'm happy that Verlander won the Cy Young because I bet on Justin Verlander to win the Cy Young in the beginning of the year. But if I was impartial and there was no money involved, I would have voted for Gerrit Cole.
Well, hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but let's just talk about this Gerrit Cole signing.
Let's talk about the contract.
What does this signing mean for the Yankees? Does this mean World Series or bust?
Yes.
You have to win a World Series with this contract.
Yes, but
how many World Series makes this a successful contract?
All right, I'm going to start off by saying, you guys are all Met fans, correct?
Yep.
You would kill to have just one World Series. As a Yankee fan,
that was a little dig.
Yeah, that was
no. I'm just we're coming from different. There's two sides to.
So you're saying
there's two tales to the New York. Being
yes,
in New York.
we get the history. We all understand that.
So as a Yankee fan, I have only seen what I've been around. I've been born.
You were born in 1997.
I was born in 1997, so I didn't really see, but I was alive for 98.
You've really seen
99, 2000,
you saw one World
2009.
Series.
I saw one World Series.
Yes.
So as a Yankee fan and as, a team that has 27 World Championships, I think at least 2 titles would make this an absolute
in 9 years
success. Yes.
You think only 2 titles makes it a success?
At least 2.
I think you got to look on the front end of that contract.
At least 2.
That's crazy.
I think
even if they win one and Cole actually helps them a lot to win that, say he pitches like the player he is in the postseason, he's the reason they win a World Series, then you can't get mad at it.
Well, hold on. The CC Sabathia deal, how many years was that?
Well, CC originally that was 7 for, I believe, 161.
He won one World Series with the Yankees.
Yes.
And had some down years. Was that contract a success?
Yes.
You think so?
And I'll tell you why it was a success.
Why would that be different from Cole's contract?
Well, the Yankees...
CC was the best pitcher in the league by the time the Yankees got him.
Yes. And number one, CC won in his first year. Off the bat, CC we signed him. He was already a top 5 pitcher.
Yeah.
He did what he said he was going to do and bring a title back to the Bronx. And he pitched 7 years, and I want to say maybe 5 years he was really good. The first, the beginning of that contract, he was dominant. And the Yankees just kept bringing him back because they saw how good of a clubhouse leader he was. And yeah, towards the end, he wasn't really that good, especially his last season. He was, I don't want to say horrible, because I have respect for him.
He was going through a lot, too, though. He went to rehab. He battled injuries.
He had his ups and downs.
Yeah, 2015, he had that thing with the, checking himself into rehab.
Yeah.
That was a huge blow to the Yankees because
they were in the wild card chase when that was happening.
Yeah,
they made the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
They eliminated
the wild card game.
Yeah.
He was actually really good that year. He was like very low key that year.
He had a good year that year, and it was sad what happened to him because he's been like one of baseball's best people.
He's such a great guy, of course.
Person.
Yeah.
And I think that contract wasn't a success because he only won one World Series, and he came in as the best pitcher in baseball. You got to win more than one World Series in New York. You didn't win the first decade in Yankees history, really, where they haven't won more than a World Series. So
I'll tell you what,
I think that's a problem.
You could compare that contract. You look at Felix Hernandez and his contract and how much of a bust that was.
But Felix wasn't going in to the Yankees.
Of course, he wasn't as
the Mariners.
Yes, of course, he wasn't that much of a comparing the two. Yeah, it was 2 different situations. But looking at the money side of it, Felix didn't really. He was hurt. He had a couple of good years. I think what was that? Didn't he win a Cy Young that one year?
Yeah,
Cy Young.
he had a Cy Young that one year.
Yeah.
You know, he had
like 10 wins, right?
Yeah, it was something,
it was
something stupid. Wins don't mean anything.
Well, it's hard to build a team in Seattle as opposed to building a team in New York.
Yeah.
With the Yankees.
I want to talk about the contract with Gerrit Cole. So coming up in these next couple of years, you're going to have a lot of guys that haven't signed their first major league giant contract yet. You know, so in 3, 4, 5 years, you're going to have the Aaron Judges, you're going to have Gary Sanchez. Those guys are going to have to sign giant contracts. So these couple next years, it's win now. It's win now.
It's
or
100% win
exactly.
now.
It's win now.
So at the end of that contract, it's going to be more of stabilizing the Yankee brand, making the playoffs, but maybe not winning a championship. Those first couple years is going to be the most important.
Also, towards the latter end of his contract, if he's still pitching well and you have to pay their players, maybe. I don't want to say you trade Gleyber Torres or Aaron Judge. I think you maybe look to trade Gerrit Cole, get some value from that to a contender.
This is way in the future.
All right, sixth year of the contract.
But it's not like
possibly.
if they don't win in the next 4 years that they're staring down a cliff. They easily they have such a good farm system that they can easily replace a few guys that they can't.
There are some large names that they have that they're going to have to pay.
It's going to be probably Cole. You got Torres. You got Judge. Sanchez. Sanchez going to get paid.
Yeah.
Judge going to get paid.
Yeah.
Judge will be. How much do you think Judge gets? 300 mil. He's gonna get 300 mil unless he takes a discount.
I mean,
there's no hometown.
By the time Judge,
if you let him hit the mark, he's gonna get 300.
Mm-hmm. By the time Judge is a free agent in a couple years, I can't even imagine if guys are getting paid $36 million now for over.
He might get 400.
I don't even want to think about that right now.
Well, luxury taxes are going to go up, so I mean, there's going to be a little more wiggle room. But looking at it now, it's going to be giant contracts.
Let me ask you something. I understand that Gerrit Cole is not going to be dominant for all 9 years.
Yeah,
but you know, when you think about it, the Yankees' time to win is right now.
Of course.
I'm not saying they have to.
It's been the last 2 years.
Exactly.
They're late to the party.
But it was Cashman not making the right moves and didn't allow them to win now.
There are certain moves he should have done.
They should have got Gerrit Cole right off the bat.
And they should have got Verlander when he was up for trade.
Yeah, but that's the thing. We don't all have crystal balls. You don't know how good Verlander is going to be. You don't know that Sonny Gray is going to go into New York and be just horrible.
Yeah.
You don't know things like that.
Of course.
But all right, so here's what I'm talking about. We signed him to a 9-year deal.
Yeah.
I'd say the first 3 to 4 years, you expect this guy, especially this year, to be dominant. Cy Young level.
Yes. And you expect a World Series.
I expect the World Series.
Probably 2 World Series.
The next 2 years, I expect the World Series.
Well, in the AL, with Gerrit Cole now on the Yankees, there is nobody in the Yankees' way. The Astros are out of the way. Yeah. Because that was
especially in the AL East.
Yeah.
Oh god.
The AL East, the Red Sox are on the downswing. The Orioles are a joke. The Rays, they're the Rays. They're always gonna be the Rays. And then you got there's nobody in the AL.
I get Cole is gonna definitely help you go towards a World Series, but your problem this postseason was hitting. Okay. So what is it? Just players have to perform better, or does there have to be extra signings with the Yankees?
All right. So,
you also. Sorry to interrupt. You have Andujar coming back as well, and that was one of your best hitters. So that
was.
That's like an acquisition as well.
Okay. Let me ask you something. Why didn't the Yankees hit this postseason? Let me ask you.
There was only a couple players that actually did hit. There was a 2 or 3 this postseason.
Did they hit the Twins pitching?
Well,
they didn't. Yeah. The Yankees.
The Twins don't have near as rotation as.
Okay. Well, could they win against one of the best rotations in baseball? Yeah. I mean, they do that to a lot of teams, not just the Yankees.
I understand that, but the reason why Houston, I mean, you could talk all day, you know, how they played. You could talk about the whole scandal, but we're not here for that.
It has nothing to do with their pitching.
I know, exactly. Okay. I was just bringing it up. But in terms of the Yankees not being able to hit, I think I think a big part of them not being able to hit was the Astros had such amazing pitching. I mean, they were able to hit Verlander. I mean, what was that, Game 5, you know, with that Aaron Hicks home run in the first inning. But other than that, you know,
it was still concerning though.
We ran into Gerrit Cole. Gerrit Cole didn't even have his A stuff, and the Yankees couldn't touch him. That's something where if you have a dominant pitcher, let's say, let's flip it around. All right, let's say we have Gerrit Cole going into that series.
Yeah.
Things would be a lot different because now we have a dominant pitcher. All we have to do is score 1 or 2 runs.
Well, you don't know who the other pitcher would have been. Maybe the Astros keep a guy like Charlie Morton on their rotation.
I was just saying.
Yeah, but Charlie Morton.
It's all hypothetical.
Still, Charlie Morton's no Gerrit Cole.
It also doesn't help that the Yankees are very built to the opposite of the postseason recipe. You don't want the power hitters. You want people to make contact and come clutch. That's not really how the Yankees are built. Their lineup. They're more power hitters that are going to lead majors and home runs in the regular season, opposed to postseason.
Well, let's just get one more Yankee prediction real quick. One more Yankee prediction. Any other free agent moves you think they'll make before next week's show?
Well,
or just in general.
In general,
what moves do the Yankees still have to make
before we move on to the other New York
okay,
team?
number one, Brett Gardner is going to be a New York Yankee.
He's going to get
Yes.
re-signed.
He's
That
gonna get
you
re-signed.
can check that off.
I
off the
honestly
box.
think he hasn't signed. I think the Yankees are like, hey, we want to get Gerrit Cole.
Save the money.
Yeah, we want to, we want a championship in 2020. Like, do you want to be all in? If you're all in,
he's going to have to take a little.
Yeah, you have
I
to
think
take.
Brett
Yeah.
Gardner might play for damn free to play in that Yankee
Well,
team.
look, if you look at the outfield market, I think Gardner, even though he's a little bit older, I think he could have made close to $20 million for one year. Now,
I don't know about that.
I understand. It might sound like a lot, but if you really, if you look at this market, he could have made close to $20 million a year.
If you went into free agency, you're saying?
Well, he is a free agent.
Well, I know. I mean, like,
I understand
this offseason, or you're saying previous past?
this offseason.
A 1 year, $20 million deal.
1 year, $20 million.
No,
a 2 year.
He's got to have the best damn agent in baseball
Yeah.
to make $20 million.
He had a very good year. I'm not saying he would have got 20, but he would have got close. 16, 17. But all right.
So Yankees re-signed Gardner.
Yes,
Next.
100% they're going to re-sign him.
Okay.
I'd be floored. Dylan Betances,
Mets.
very possible.
Yeah.
We did just have the Blake Trinan signing to the
Yeah, to
Dodgers.
the Dodgers.
It was
Maybe
a big
10
blow.
million.
'Cause
1
I
year-
wanted the Mets to sign him really
1 year,
badly.
$10 million. I do think Betances is a better
It's nothing
pitcher.
for him.
I do think Betances is a better pitcher, but he's also in a similar situation as Trinan. Had a very strong 2018,
Mhm.
but Trinan had a very, very shaky 2019. And
Yeah.
Betances, he really, what did he pitched to 2 batters.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the injury takes a lot off his value compared to Trinan.
But I think that the Mets are going to go hard after Betances because he's a name, and Brody loves names.
Yeah.
And his bullpen help. It
Yeah.
checks both boxes.
well, if Trinan got 10, expect Betances to get 11 or more.
You think he'll get more than Trinan?
Yes, absolutely. If
Something to
the
watch.
Yankees,
Yeah.
I think the Yankees would prefer a short contract, a 1 year deal. If a team swoops in and offers him a 3 to 4 year contract to be their closer, expect him to take that and be closer and
You
become a
think that
superstar
a team
somewhere else.
is going to make him their closer?
Yes,
You think so? If
I think-
Betances signs
I
with the
think-
Mets, you think he won't become their setup man?
he would. But what I'm saying is, if a team were to offer him 3 to 4 years to be their closer, he is that type of stuff to be a closer.
I just don't think he would go to say the Royals or some other crappy team to go be a closer. I think he'd rather win.
That's too much of a commitment for someone who hasn't been proven to be a closer. in
Proven
this
with the
league.
stuff and proven with injuries
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, but if you take a team, I'm not saying he's going to go to the Royals. If you take a team like the
Yeah.
Angels, who are just desperate just to compete, I think they would offer him something like that. And I mean, I know he's from New York. He loves being a Yankee. I do think he winds up, re-signing with the team. Last move, I do think they do in the free agent market. Martin Maldonado. I think he comes as the Yankees' backup catcher. Martin Maldonado, obviously, as you know, he was a part of that Houston team. Him and Gerrit Cole. I'm not sure his exact ERA, but all I know is he was kind of his personal catcher in Houston. He had an ERA under 2, and I can't tell you how many starts. But I do think that's something they do. I do think Austin Romine goes somewhere else, and I'm not saying he's going to be a starter, but a team that doesn't really have a catcher, he's a possibility to be a starting catcher.
Those are some interesting moves to watch for the Yankees as the winter meetings roll on. But we're going to move on to the next New York team. The real New York team. You're outnumbered on this show,
Yup.
Pablo. The New York Mets, baby. All right? Meet the Mets. So what are the Mets going to do this offseason? They've been pretty quiet. I don't like quiet. I want them to start making some moves.
Oh, there's been some whispers about
Rumblings.
about people like Starling Marte,
Which I don't like.
Betances, like we talked. Marte doesn't fit that much because he's not a great defensive center fielder. He's
No.
more of a left or right fielder.
And I like the Marisnik deal, too.
The Marisnik
So
deal, but
why-
yeah, he's a platoon as like a backup. So you
Yeah.
had to
But
go Nimmo.
Would you
in
rather
center
take
field.
Nimmo and Marisnik or trade a guy like Nimmo for Marte?
Marte?
You would do that?
I think I
And
love
prospects?
Nimmo as a player.
Easy. It's
I
easy.
think Mets fans, as in general, overrate Nimmo like in his trade value. I think people say they'd rather have like Nimmo and Marisnik to Marte when Marte is an all-star caliber player and Nimmo hasn't proven that yet.
Yep.
So it's a less risky, but it's also riskier in the sense of money and age. But I mean, it's more of a proven commodity.
You see, I would rather have them take Nimmo and other prospects and go after a higher level player like
But,
a
I
Mookie
mean,
Betts
Yeah, but
and like
But
a.
then that's where you
Lindor.
start the conversation with the Syndergaards of the world, the Confortos, McNeils, like that.
I wouldn't trade
that's-
Syndergaard, but I would. Conforto can go too. I love Conforto. He's so streaky though, and I would trade him for a Mookie Betts. I would trade him
All right,
for a
Steve.
Lindor.
All right, Steve. what's the purpose in trading for a guy like Mookie Betts?
Especially, you have to re-sign him.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Obviously. So let's get that out of the way. I'm not trading for him if he's gone next year.
Yeah.
I'm trading for him if they can sign him, which I think they can.
So what kind of package do you think lands Mookie Betts to
I
New York
think
Mets?
you trade. You have
It's
to
got to start with Syndergaard.
It's got to start with Syndergaard.
You think it starts with Syndergaard?
Yes,
Yes,
100%.
yes.
But then you have to. Then you have to sign another
in my
pitcher.
opinion. What?
Yes.
You see, I don't think it has to start with Syndergaard. I think
No,
you can
I
get.
I think it has to start with Syndergaard.
That's what
That's
Mets fans
why-
do. They overrate what they have now. Who you can give them that they're going to take from
Give
Mookie Betts,
Conforto?
an all-star caliber player,
Andres
more than
Menez?
all-star caliber. They don't care about
Menez
that.
is one of the most overhyped.
They're not
prospects.
taking- yeah,
they're not a
prospects in
team,
baseball.
Steve.
No, he's
Steven,
not.
they're not a team that's rebuilding. If they're going to
think
give up Mookie Betts,
They want
an
an MLB
MVP
pitcher.
Yes.
player, an MVP caliber player who could win more MVPs.
They need to plug another
They
hole.
need
if
at
Mookie
least-
Betts is going to re-sign, I would trade Noah Syndergaard.
Like, yeah, but you don't know that.
But I would.
So that's why it doesn't make sense to trade for a guy like that.
You think that this man Cohen can't pay Mookie Betts?
Okay.
I think he can.
Okay. So if that's the case, if he's going to pay him, why not just wait till next year when you could have Syndergaard and Mookie Betts?
Because
If you're
the
thinking
window
that way.
is now. You don't know if DeGrom is going to get Tommy John.
But
or
I don't.
something.
The Mets team has so many holes. I really don't think the window is now. I think if you do have a
What
guy
are the
like
what are
Cohen,
the holes? The holes are the bullpen and center field.
the bullpen, they haven't kind of
That's
like
it.
they have kind of like an aging team. If
Besides
you-
Cano,
come on.
who else is aging?
It's a very young roster.
They're
Their
cool.
centerpieces are around young players, molded
Cespedes
around.
is injury
older
prone.
players.
Cespedes-
The roster
Listen,
isn't
you can
revolving
throw
around
Cespedes
Cespedes.
out. I'm not even.
Where are you gonna throw him
You
out?
can't make him.
I'm just not even thinking.
He's
of
not in
Cespedes
their
when it comes
plans
down
for
to
next
this.
year.
Okay.
He's like
He's an afterthought.
whipped cream on the ice cream. That's what he is. He's that's what he is this year.
Yeah.
If anything
That's
from
what he
him
was
is
last
whipped
year,
cream.
and he didn't even play.
Yes.
play
So
games.
it doesn't matter.
So,
I don't think that
It
deal
was not
makes sense.
overrated.
Now, when you talk about Andrew, the people who have told you that they rather have Marisnik and Nimmo over a guy like Marte, I think they're completely.
that's absurd.
That's
To me.
absurd. That's
Yeah.
absurd. Number one, Marisnik is a defensive only player.
Yep.
He's amazing in the field. He's very
not a
fast.
bat.
He's very
Except in
fast.
that World Series.
Cannot hit. Well,
A
Yeah.
little blunder there.
well, it's,
Center field.
I can't say that I feel bad for Houston.
Well, besides Marte, obviously, let's think they don't get Betts. They don't.
Well,
Brendan Magadan strikes
start
out
with-
with
let's
his
start with the
big
team then.
dreams. What's
who
he
they
actually
got to
gonna
trade
get?
away? So you got to get rid of a guy like Lowry. I think you got to look at your
I don't think
options
you have
with
to. Why do you have to
Familia
get rid of Lowry?
because his contract's
Because
huge.
they're
and he hasn't
not going
played
to
a
pay
game.
money for anyone like that unless they shed some contracts that they already have.
You know,
They
with the
want to get rid of
LeBron-
Familia and Lowry and those contracts.
I would rather get
in
rid of
order to
Lowry
get
than
rid of those
Familia.
contracts, and no one's going to want to take them, so they have to throw in
I'd
prospects
rather get rid of both.
and eat a lot
I
of
think
the
they should get rid of
salaries.
both.
I think
and sign
Familia.
up
I don't think the Mets are in position to be giving away possibly good bullpen arms. I think Lowry. Okay, fine, get rid of him. He
It's
wasn't
not
even a factor last
2015
year.
anymore. I just don't see Familia.
He's coming. He had a
Performing
bad year
in New
last
York.
year.
If
but
you
he
can
had
get a
good
bag
year
of
2
peanuts
years
for
ago.
Familia, you
I'll tell you
You
Do
what.
you
trade
really
him
think
away.
so?
Yeah,
I'll tell you
because of
what.
the contract.
You
yeah.
take a guy like Nimmo and you package him with the guy like Familia
or Lowry.
or Lowry,
Yeah.
and you trade him. Hey, do you guys want Nimmo? Okay.
But
Would
you gotta take the contract
Yes.
as well.
Yeah. You would have to take a partial. I'm not saying Nimmo is. I don't know. Just give me a
Superstar.
player. Andrew Benintendi. But what I'm saying is a team might kind of have some sort of interest and value Brandon Nimmo. And
Because he's young and he has potential. Not saying
He has
he's going to be a
even though I do
MVP
think he is.
caliber
Oh
player.
my God, he is so overvalued.
But you can write off last season as an injury-riddled season,
Yes.
and then 2
I
seasons
don't-
ago.
I just
go
don't think
off
he's that good.
So what does it take
he
for
runs
Marte?
to first base.
What does it take for Marte
when he
from the
walks.
Mets? What?
What does it take?
Yeah, what does it take?
To be honest, I'm not really sure who it takes. I don't think it would take a top prospect. I think it would take kind of like a Mets number 5 prospect and somebody who would be major league ready to put in the outfield right now, like a Brandon Nimmo.
Okay.
All right, so bold prediction for the Mets by next week. What are they gonna do? Let's hear it
By next week.
by next week's podcast, so we can build on this. What is the bold prediction for the Mets? Episode 1, we need a bold prediction.
I'll
Everybody's
start.
gonna make one.
I think they get that Marte trade done. I think it's you have a giant hole. We haven't had a center fielder that can play. I mean, not saying Marte is a world beater playing defense there, but he's a natural center fielder compared to throwing Conforto out there, throwing Nimmo out there. Lagares can't hit. Like they got to get the Marte deal done just so that they could look at center field and say, all right, that guy's there. Don't have to worry about him. So I think that's a player you got to really go after.
I think, I agree. I think the Marte deal gets done. I think they can package someone like Lowry with Nimmo. I know they want to move Dom Smith as well because, I mean, if he's not going to start for the Mets, his value is only down for them. So I think they get that done. So once they get rid of the Lowry contract, so they have a little more payroll flexibility. They add Marte, and then they go after a guy like Betances with the extra money they save from getting one of those contracts. Yeah. So that fills center field, and that fills a hole in the bullpen as well.
Which is the two glaring holes right now.
What do you think, Steve?
I think that the Mets, they're not going to get Mookie Betts as much as I would love them to get Mookie Betts.
That would definitely
They should be looking at these top guys that are the Arenados. I'm just saying.
Say Arenado, and that gets me excited.
I know. I'm just saying it's New York. They should be looking at the Lindors, the Arenados, but they're not going to. So
I think that the Mets, I do agree with you too. This isn't going to be that bold because two of the people said it before me. But Starling Marte will be a Met. And it'll take Nimmo or J.D. Davis or Dom Smith, one of those 3 plus prospects to get.
All right, let me ask you guys something. Do you know what the word bold means? Now
that's not that bold. But
that's very not bold.
Well, as Met fans, you can't be that
too
bold.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't.
Bold prediction. Bold prediction. By next week, Edwin Diaz is wearing a different jersey. That's a bold prediction.
That is a bold prediction.
Now, I do think he had a horrible year, similar to a guy like Trinan. I do think if you put him in a different environment, I do think this guy would be a superstar somewhere else. That's a bold prediction.
But if you fix Edwin Diaz at all and you get Betances, Edwin Diaz, and Seth Lugo, 7, 8, 9, that bullpen, that's a good bullpen.
It's a very good bullpen.
That's a good back end of the bullpen. You can win with that.
It's a good bullpen. But I do think think a guy like Lugo, I think going into this season, you would already know how he was last year, and maybe his role is something a little bit bigger this year. And
it's got to be if Diaz is going to perform the way he.
It can't be bigger than what it is. Yeah. He doesn't pitch back-to-back days. He has a partially torn elbow. He can't pitch back-to-back days. He can't pitch 2 innings at a time. He's your strictly 9th inning guy. Unless you add more bullpen pieces, that's what he's going to be.
Yeah. All right, well, another guy who might be wearing a different uniform by next week, probably going to be wearing a different uniform by next week, is Anthony Rendon. Yep. So what are we going to do about that? Where is he going to go? He's not going to go to the Phillies, right?
No, I don't think he's going to go to the Phillies.
Let's hope not.
Then he goes into that Bryce Harper shadow. I
He's
he wants to do that.
Again,
he's an MVP.
Again, the second time.
Exactly, the second time. He's an MVP caliber player. We saw it this year. I wanted the Mets to look at him last year. They never did. Trade for him. The guy's amazing. I think you got to look at the Dodgers, the Angels, like those type of teams. Isn't he from Texas or whatever?
Texas. Yeah,
he's Texas. Rumbling of the Rangers. I doubt that happens.
It's their number one option.
That's what the Rangers want. Yeah.
I originally thought the Rangers. I thought, going into their new ballpark, I figured they were going to go after a guy like him, a guy like Marcell Ozuna, and kind of like make that strong offense even stronger and have those big bats around Joey Gallo. But now having Gerrit Cole, slip from the Angels' grasp, I do think that he winds up in Anaheim. And
the Angels got to sign someone.
Yes.
Anaheim?
Yes, Anaheim
I think he's going to end up in Texas in the different AL West squad. I think the Rangers are looking to make a splash. He's from Texas. They got new uniforms. The powder blue ones are nice, but the home ones are disgusting. I hate the uniforms. But Rendon's going home. They're going to pay him an insane amount of money. They need to fill that stadium. It's a brand new stadium, and they're not that bad. They're not that far off. They're not too far removed from making the playoffs. I think they make a run hard at him.
I think that the Angels are desperate.
They are very desperate.
I think they're very desperate.
But I think the Angels are done throwing money at players.
No,
I think they're not done. They're going to throw even more money.
They're not done. They were just talking heavily with Scott Boras, and Scott Boras, as we all know, is Anthony Rendon's agent. Now, this guy is a wizard. He was,
with Strasburg and Cole.
Yes, with Strasburg and Cole, and who else just signed? I can't even think right now. But when you look at the Angels trading away Zach Cozart, frees a hole at third base. Now, going back to a few off seasons ago, they were very big on Zach Greinke. Everybody thought they were going to go get Zach Greinke. Zach Greinke's the guy. Zach Greinke's the guy.
Diamondbacks came in at the 11th hour.
They don't get Zach Greinke. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Actually, yes. Okay. And who do they end up getting? They end up getting Josh Hamilton. They had their pockets open, and they got the big fish. Even though it's not somebody they really wanted, it's somebody that improved the team. I do think Anthony Rendon, by
that contract's
next
week, very large.
It's going to be huge.
I think he's worth it. He is a beast.
Oh, of course, yeah.
A guy like Cole getting $36 million, a guy like Strasburg getting $35 million. If you see the trend here, Scott Boras' agents are just making more and more money. Now, I do think Rendon, being older, He's not going to get 8, 9 years.
I don't think. I mean, what do you think he'll get more than Machado got last year?
No, I think he gets.
I think he's very close to it.
I think he gets 6 years at 37 or 36 and a half per year, which would be almost $222 million.
And that's for the Angels.
6 years, $222 million to the Angels. That's my prediction.
All right. Andrew, any prediction for Anthony Rendon?
I mean, I think the 3 big teams that we would look at are, as you said, the Rangers and the Angels. I think another team that could spend the money and shown they have in the past is the Dodgers. I think keeping them in LA, they get that star after. They've been so close to winning in the past few years. They just need that. They just need like one more key player to kind
of.
And
if Rendon's on the Nationals, the Dodgers win that series.
And the thing with the Dodgers is like the last few years, they've been trying to, since they lost 2 World Series in a row, they've been trying to get that last piece. And you look on Twitter, all Dodgers fans are calling for a guy like Lindor. Like they're looking for infield help. So
they're actually
Rendon,
in talks.
They've been in talks with Lindor. But then if you sign Rendon, you can just move people over and it will all work out. So they're going to go after that big caliber player since it is LA. I mean, it's one of the biggest markets in the country. So,
all right, where I think the Dodgers go.
Where? One final point in the baseball segment, then move on to football. So what is it?
I don't think they get Lindor.
Okay.
I think they sign a guy like Nick Castellanos. He's
a great player.
Yeah, he's a really good player. He was amazing with the Cubs.
But he's more of an AL player because he's not a great fielder.
No.
So
and with the Tigers, he's
not a great fielder, but he's a guy.
He's tough to plug
he's 26, 27 years old. The Dodgers, they have this thing going where they have a lot of young players. I do think if they want to add a pitcher, they can take a guy like Gavin Lux. Even though I do think it would be too much for a guy like Corey Kluber. Mm-hmm. I do think they have the pieces.
Lutz was where the conversation started with
exactly.
With those guys, yeah.
But I don't think the Dodgers part with Lux to get an older player in Kluber.
Yeah, I mean, what you said about Castellanos, he's kind of like a mini JD Martinez, that kind of player. So as he went to the Red Sox, I mean, that kind of situation would be perfect for him.
Yeah, I think if he goes to an AL team, I think the Yankees should take a look at Castellanos. I think that would be a great signing for him.
I think we're all right with the big contract.
I think you should say.
Just want to do a quick shout out to Rutgers basketball for beating Wisconsin.
We beat Wisconsin.
Yes, 72-65. Love that.
Wow. Did we have you ever beaten Wisconsin?
Yes, we did once when they were ranked second or third. Frank Kaminsky didn't play that game, and then we beat them in Wisconsin.
Well, we should have beat Michigan State this weekend.
Shout out, I don't want to get into
this. Shout out RU.
But,
all right, well,
happy about that.
Ending our baseball segment with a little basketball right there. So let's get right into how about we get into some pigskin, the football picks.
Yeah, we'll start with Thursday Night Football. So obviously, there's questions right now as we speak about Lamar Jackson and his health.
He's going to play.
He's going to play.
This is big. We got a resident Jet fan here for our first ever pick segment. Our first ever pick is a Jet game. So
wow.
Yeah.
Andrew, you can start us off before I get blabbering.
Do I have to pick this game? Can we go on record that a part of me will die if I pick the Ravens, but I think I would get kicked off this podcast if I picked the Jets to win this. So give me the Ravens. Give me them to win big. I think there's some garbage time at the end, but I think the Ravens win big.
Yeah, you got to look at with Lamar's health, like I was mentioning, that they're going to take him out at a certain point once the game gets out of hand. But -16 spread, I think garbage time. The Jets
-16.
Yes, -16.
Holy,
that's crazy.
Yes.
I think the Ravens win. The Jets cover.
I think the Jets are going to cover once they bench Lamar. Once they're enough ahead, and the Jets will get a couple garbage time.
That's a Luke Falk.
Wow,
that's a Luke Falk line right there.
Well, Le'Veon's fine. The whole flu situation, him going bowling, was blown out of proportion.
251.
I know, 251.
That's
nice. A very good
He's better than our
score.
producer.
That is amazing. Yeah.
As Z shakes his head in the
So you're going with the Ravens, but the Jets cover.
Oh, yeah. That's a huge line, and they're going to bench Lamar at a certain point.
Well, I have Lamar Jackson in fantasy, so I hope he doesn't get benched. Yeah. And it's the playoffs, so I hope he doesn't get benched.
Playoffs.
And I really think the Ravens are going to win this game. I think it'd be asinine to pick the Jets, honestly, especially with a spread that big. I think the Jets do cover. Their run defense has been pretty good recently.
Yeah, that's a strong part of their defense.
I think Ingram's going to be shut down, and I think Lamar Jackson's not going to be running as much as he was, especially with a hamstring injury.
Yeah. Well, I hope Ingram's shut down. I'm playing Ethan in fantasy this week.
I also have Ingram in the Birdman League, But I'm thinking about not starting him. I'm thinking about who I should start instead of Lamar because I hate that Thursday night curse. But you have to start Lamar.
It's Lamar Jackson, number one quarterback.
I just know he's gonna have a bad game.
I mean, the Jets are missing their top 3 inside linebackers and their top 4 cornerbacks from the beginning of the season. Yeah. So I mean, he should be fine. Even if he doesn't run, he should still throw for 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, Ravens win, Jets lose. Simple as that. I think the Jets do cover though because I think it's gonna be it's a short week, and the defense is be playing tough, and I think it's gonna be a lot of running the ball. I think the Jets rely on Bell a lot, especially since he won't be out bowling the night before. So we'll
anything bold? You go against the Ravens?
No, I don't think even without Lamar Jackson that the Jets can beat the Ravens. I just think the Ravens, they have such a talented team and a talented offense even without Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. And what do you think of Le'Veon Bell's bowling game? 251. That's kind of impressive.
With the flu. Where would you compare that with Michael Jordan's flu game?
Yeah, okay.
Better or worse?
Le'Veon Bell's flu bowling game, the greatest game nobody ever seen, and Michael Jordan's flu game. What's better?
All I got to say is my flu game is off the charts.
What's your flu game?
I don't know what that means.
Well, I don't think we have enough time on this podcast.
I don't know what your flu game is or what you talking about.
I'm going Le'Veon Bell's flu game.
I'm definitely not picking your mystery flu game. And I'm moving on to the next game. What's our next game on the Pick'em show?
Oh, sorry about that. Let me look real quick.
Dan is our expert. When
so
it comes to
obviously, being a Vikings fan, that's always the number one game. But that's a 4:00 game. So we'll start with Patriots Bengals, and there's been talks of.
We're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah. So with the whole recording thing and everything, it's just been really weird situation to monitor. Judging it being the Bengals, the 1-12 Bengals that the Patriots were recording on the sidelines at the Browns game. So that was a weird situation. But you want to say anything about that?
All right. I think that this game is the easiest game to predict. Yeah. I don't even think we need to go any more in depth. I think
we'll just
it's 4 across the board Patriots.
I'm going to pick the Patriots.
Oh, you had me going for a second.
-9.5 spread. I still like New England to cover that.
I
think that's pretty.
Unless
pretty
Andy Dalton.
All right, bold prediction: the Patriots are going to win. Honestly, I was.
Are you sure you know what bold prediction means? Because you were coming at us before.
Yeah. I do. It's actually funny. Last week I had predicted the Patriots to win. I mean, every team is human. Every team falters at one point. I do think this week the Patriots are going to run away with it.
They got to get their offense back in track. And this is the perfect time, and it's December. Bill Belichick gets the Patriots. They always have that midseason little lull. This is the perfect time to get that offense back on track and blow out the Bengals. So next game, Lions-Buccaneers. We've seen the Bucs have been pretty hot lately. I mean, their offense at least. I mean, their defense started off the year pretty good. I mean, they were one of the top 10 defenses in the National Football League.
When they played us, their run defense is phenomenal.
It
is amazing.
Well, their linebackers, you look at
what's his
Levante
name?
David.
Shaq Barrett, I think?
Shaq Barrett.
He's fantastic.
In the beginning of the season,
what a signing that was. He was a free agent.
He's
Nobody thought anything of. I hope the Giants give him $100 million. Man, I would kill for that man on our team.
I know. Great player. Bucs -3, I think, against the Lions.
Well, the Lions might have the worst quarterback I've ever seen play football.
He almost won on Thanksgiving.
I know, but then last week he was horrible.
The other quarterback must have had too much stuff in, huh?
That was the worst joke I've ever heard.
We're gonna forget you said that.
Can we cut that zone?
Story about this game. Mike Evans doubtful, and it's pretty much that he's going to be out.
He's out for the season.
He's out for the season.
I
missed that. My bad.
But
I thought that was Calvin Ridley.
No, they're both. He's out as well. Like 7 people are out for the season.
Oh, wow,
I don't care if you throw Pablo out there to catch passes from Jameis Winston. He's going to throw touchdowns. Jameis will lead the league in touchdowns, interceptions, and yards thrown. And they are going to blow out the Lions at Ford Field.
Why are you guys coming?
I hope so.
Texas Roadhouse University. Don't you guys remember?
TRU.
Yeah. I got Jameis in fantasy this week. Thinking about him. Don't know if I want to start him or start Ryan Tannehill.
I can't believe that you picked him up. I dropped him, and I thought, nobody's going to pick him up. And, of course, now he's going off.
I picked him up right away.
This guy's a snake.
26 touchdowns, 23 interceptions. That's a crazy line. That's a line that you'd think Danny Dimes or Baker Mayfield would have.
Not Danny Dimes. Don't bring Danny Dimes in that company.
Anyway, Bucs -3, easy game. I picked Buccaneers.
Yeah, the Bucs winning cover.
Yep. All right, better game. Packers-Bears in Lambeau. Packers obviously trying to hold their division lead against the Vikings. 1-game lead. Big game for them. Green Bay -4.5.
I'm going to go with Green Bay in that game. Mm-hmm. Although Green Bay has not impressed me the last 2 weeks against the Giants and against the Redskins, especially against the Redskins.
Oh my God!
How do you not blow that team?
I know
out?
they didn't even win by more than 7. I think it was like a 6-point game.
And I have been a Trubisky believer, and he has played better.
He has been playing a lot better lately.
But I'll
give him that.
Him going to Lambeau, I can't see the Bears beating the Packers.
If the Bears win this game, 8-6, they're
right there.
They're right in that playoff hunt with the Rams. The Rams, we'll get to them in a second. They have a very important game this week against the Cowboys. But I think the Packers really got to win this game. They got to win out, make sure that the Vikings don't touch them. They get it as a good as seed. I think they're the 2 seed right now in the NFC.
No, the 3 seed.
Oh, they are the 3 seed. I thought
the Saints. No, they
have a tiebreaker over the Saints, so it's 2 seeds. So they're going to obviously try to win out, to get that bye and home field advantage.
Yeah. I think the Packers win. Trubisky and the Bears have been playing much better recently, and the Packers really haven't looked that good. I mean, they didn't look great against the Redskins last week. So give me the Packers to win and the Bears to cover.
Packers discount double check. Aaron Rodgers, that's my guy.
All right. Next game, I think this is going to be the game of the week, which is Titans-Texans. This is a huge game for both teams trying to win the AFC South. Tennessee at home, -3. Got the pretty much saying they're even game, even teams. Lately that Titans offense has just been clicking on all cylinders. Derrick Henry been amazing. Ryan Tannehill been amazing. I think the Texans are going to win this game and cover 3 points.
I think give me the
Titans. I said
You said Texans.
Oh, I meant Titans. Sorry,
I agree with you. I want the Titans. I love Ryan Tannehill. Give him Texas A&M. He's breaking out, and they're going to win this game.
Yeah.
See, Ryan Tannehill kind of pissed me off last week. We'll get into that's a story for another time. But Houston, they're Jekyll and Hyde. They look amazing against the Patriots. They got destroyed by the Broncos. That was a really, really disappointing
that game
loss.
And the Ravens game, they got what was that, like a 30-point game?
They got murdered. They got like 40-3.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So Titans at home, they're the higher team right now. I'll take the Titans. I think the Titans win. Maybe the Texans cover. I think it's going to be a really close game, but I think the Titans.
Game of the week. I hope there's some scoring, and both of their defenses haven't been looking great. So I think this could be a very high-scoring, fun game to watch.
I don't think you guys are giving the Texans enough credit. I mean, both teams are 8-5. I do think that the Texans walk away with the win here.
All right, quick pick here on these next. We'll say the next 2 games. Broncos, Chiefs.
Chiefs. Broncos have been playing great lately, but give me the Chiefs.
I'll take the Chiefs.
Chiefs 9.5. I think they win and they cover. Drew Lock going into Arrowhead. I can't see him.
He had a miracle game last week. I don't think that stays.
And then Eagles Redskins 4.5 minus 4.5 for the Eagles. You know what? They're not impressing me.
No, not at all.
I'm going to pick the upset. I'm going with the Redskins. I think the Redskins are going to win that game.
And I think that's a sneaky pick. And I want to pick the Redskins really bad, but the Eagles are fighting for their life. They know there's hope.
They should have lost.
They should have lost, but they got to rally around. I mean, their offense has been atrocious. They got to rally around Wentz. They got to get it done. It's maybe a trap game. I could see that, but you got to give me Philly. I don't know. I think it's going to be a lot closer. Maybe that 4.5. I don't think they cover, but I think they get the win in a close game.
See, they're a big game against Dallas next week. I think they're going to look ahead to that kind of. So give me the Redskins.
Yeah. Wow. 2 Redskins picks.
You make it 3 or going to Eagles?
I'm going to Eagles here. I have
played safe.
I thought you work with a lot of Eagles fans.
I do work with so many Eagle fans. I do work down south. Fly Eagles fly, as the Eagle fans do like to say. I have the Eagles winning this week.
All right, we'll go to your team, Steve. Giants Dolphins. Giants 3.5-point favorites. Dolphins should have beat the Jets, but that pass interference call. And
damn good call.
Yeah, for you, and the last second field goal. So what do you think about that?
All right, I think the New York Giants, I am miserable watching this team nowadays.
Are you going to watch the game?
I am going to watch the game because I don't miss Giant games, as people know that. They know
what point do you give up, man?
I can't give up. There's only 3 weeks left, and you look forward to football season all year. It's all you want is your team to do good once a week. It's different than any other sport because it's only once a week.
Yep.
And it has been miserable.
Season from hell.
Season from hell. They haven't won since September.
I know, that's bad.
And it's not going to stop this week.
So what's the word on Daniel Jones this week?
Daniel Jones is most likely out, but they don't know yet. And I
would like to see Eli. This season means
nothing. I think
nothing.
Eli deserves one more home start.
Yeah, especially.
And
I think the crowd will come out for that.
As I'd like to see Eli finish his career 500, because now he's under 500. Yep. He's not, if he starts, he's not going to. They're gonna lose the Dolphins this week. The Dolphins are better coached. They're better motivated. That team, I love Brian Flores.
I was about to say, I love awesome. Brian Flores.
And he shows more fight than that man, Pat Shurmur, has shown in his whole goddamn career. I don't know if I can say that on here, but I said it.
Yeah.
Goddamn career.
Go ahead, man.
He is terrible. And this will be his second to last home game as New York Giants head coach.
Yeah.
The Giants are going to lose to the Dolphins. The Dolphins are going to come to MetLife, avenge last week. Their kicker's not going to kick 7 field goals because he's going to kick 5 extra points because the Dolphins are going to beat the Giants this Sunday. As much as it pains me to admit, as much as it pains me to say, I had picked the Giants to go to the playoffs this year.
Whoa.
They're going to lose.
Talk about bold predictions.
They're on the chase for Chase Young.
Yeah, this
They're
is a
gonna
big
lose this
game
week.
for draft order. Obviously,
Very
3-10 and 2-11 teams. But I'm going to agree with you. Last week, I said the Dolphins were going to go into MetLife and then stay in MetLife and beat the Jets and the Giants.
We were a kick away.
They were a quick kick away, a pass interference call away. But Dolphins money line, bet it last week. I'm just going to bet my losses again on this week against the Giants. Give me the Dolphins.
This is a weird game. The line 3.5 Giants is insane because the Giants are 2-11 and haven't played well at home or anywhere.
But 5.5 last week hit. And
that 5.5 did hit.
It was
Okay.
big.
Honestly, I can't trust the Dolphins. They should have won last week, and I don't know. Give me the Giants this week.
Wow.
Eli looks good.
You think they cover?
Quick Giants story.
No, I think the Dolphins cover, but I think the Giants win a really close game.
Quick Giants story about my dad. As many people know, I have got my dad into betting. And he bets on everything now. He even bets on Bulgarian soccer.
Bulgarian soccer?
Yes. I don't know. I don't know how I got him into that. But he put $10 on Giants money line last Monday. And I never seen the man cheer harder than he was on Monday night.
$10?
When Eli Manning threw that second touchdown. Yeah, motherfucker, let's go. I was like, my God, Dad, I ain't seen him cheer like that since the Super Bowl.
Up 17-3.
I saw him last night. He said he woke up in the morning, checked his account, and he was
miserable.
He was missing the money. He's like, what happened? They won, right? Because he went to bed at halftime.
Yeah, 17-3.
He watched the highlights, he said, right before he went to work. He couldn't freaking believe it. Wow. I was crying. Giants or Dolphins? What's your pick?
Dolphins. I don't see any way that the Giants come away with the victory here. Honestly, Steve, I'm not sure how you guys feel. Would you rather a guy like Daniel Jones develop and play, even though I'm not sure what his health status is, or would you want to see a guy like Eli Manning, kind of have like his final run
off into the sunset?
I would rather see Eli get one more start at home, and then
100%.
the next 2 starts you can give to Daniel. He needs one more start at home. Because he got his last start.
He deserves
Philly,
it.
He deserves one more start at home in front of the home fans. And one more final send-off. Win or lose,
get him the 500.
however he plays.
Get him the 500.
I hope he wins, but they've shown me nothing that makes me want to pick them. Nothing.
Let's move on. Let's go pretty quick with this one. Shouldn't be much of a game since how the Panthers have been playing as of late. Seahawks, Panthers, Seattle -6.
This will be easy. The Seahawks are going to win. I actually think the Panthers might cover.
I don't know.
I will stay away from that spread because I think the Seahawks are a little... They've had the worst margin of victory of any of the teams that are actually good. So I think that picking them against the spread is tough, but I think they're going to win. There's no way they lose that.
I got to disagree because the Seahawks just got embarrassed on primetime football against the Rams. I mean, they played terrible football. They relied on Russell Wilson way too much in that game. Just didn't happen. I think they have to go to Carolina, who doesn't have a head coach, an actual head coach, and just blow them out. And get everyone talking about the Seahawks and fight for that division, which they are with the 49ers.
I think the Seahawks are pissed off. I think Carolina looked terrible against Atlanta last week. So
3 or 4 weeks.
Last 3 or 4 weeks.
I thought they were going to make playoffs.
Kyle Allen is progressively getting worse and worse every week. Yep. I think the Seahawks, they win big.
Seahawks are going to go in there and roll over this other team. I have Seahawks going in.
Disclaimer, Pablo is technically a Seahawks fan.
Seahawks affiliate.
He's signed, but he's not committed. He's not moved to Seattle or anything yet. He's just signed the contract. So real quick, Jaguars Raiders. Just throw a name.
Raiders. Jaguars have been playing awful.
This is my
both these teams have been playing.
Well, wait. The Raiders are minus 6.5.
I'll take the Raiders to win and cover.
Cover.
The Jaguars look terrible. I would never root or bet with the Jaguars ever again in my life.
They ruined my parlay. They ruined my pick last week. I'm going with the Raiders for Dan Chella's dad.
Yeah.
I'm going for the Raiders.
Raiders.
I like their colors.
And here we go with a very
black and white.
This game I won't be watching since the Vikings play at 4.
Can I say something? The Boomer Sooner Bowl.
Yes, this is the Boomer Sooner Bowl.
Dan's
Baker Mayfield versus Kyler Murray, 2 of my favorite college players ever, other than Adrian Peterson, the great one. Cleveland minus 2.5. Baker got to get it done. Rolls into Arizona and beats the Cardinals by more than 2.5.
All right, as Dan would say, Baker, money maker.
Yup.
I think you put Odell Beckham Jr. in your lineup, and he's going to have a big game against that shoddy Cardinals secondary.
Terrible secondary.
Browns are going to win. Kyler Murray looks horrible the last couple of weeks. Absolutely horrible.
How could
what happened to him?
Tough defense.
That offensive line is just atrocious.
He was having a fantastic
year
in
the backfield.
Yes. He doesn't even have a chance to throw it. The games that the offensive line has played better, you've seen the stats. Like Kyler's is a great quarterback when you just give him a little bit of help so he could run out, make a throw, just make some plays on the outside.
He's a rookie. He was
he
on
is
fire. You
and
can't
now
expect
he's
him to
looking
keep it up the whole year.
Now he's looking like a rookie, so you can't fault the guy for that.
I think the Browns win, go back to 500.
Yeah, they have to, and not that they're going to make the playoffs. They're pretty much out of it, but
It'd be
Browns
nice for them to
win that.
finish 500 for the first time in like 10 years.
I know.
I think the doo-doo Browns go in there and just completely crap on the Cardinals. I don't think Kyler Murray is ready for it. I don't think he has what it takes to be a competent quarterback in this league.
I gotta say that was a pretty shitty analogy. Anyway, Rams Cowboys.
Oh, you're just gonna skip
You don't
over my
get it?
pick? That's
I get
cool.
it.
Sorry.
Okay,
With
so
the zone, I get it because I'm pretty sure
Cleveland
it's
minus 2.5 in
Sorry.
Arizona. Cleveland 2.5 in Arizona. I'm going to take the Cardinals to win. The Browns are a dead club and they're canceled. So
Wow.
give me the Cardinals to win.
All right. Now on to two Dans. Dan versus Dan.
Yeah.
Dan DeLucia versus D-Rod. The Vikings and the Chargers. I got the Vikings to win this game, even though the Chargers are the most unpredictable team in the whole
Wow,
league.
how good did they look last week? Yeah,
I
it
think
makes
it's
no
not bad,
sense.
the
I
Jaguars.
did say they were. Well, it is on the Jaguars. I did say the Jaguars were gonna get blown out that game, but the Chargers offense all season long has not been up to their par. But last week, yeah, they really went off.
Yeah, the Vikings are going to win this game. They're going to get help because the Packers and the Bears game. Somebody's going to lose,
Yeah,
so they're going to be happy after this week.
I've got the Chargers winning this week.
Upsetting the Vikings.
Upsetting the Vikings. Yeah, shout out my man Danny Rod 24. I do think that the Chargers, they have what it takes to win this week. And that's it. Joey Bosa, Ohio State. Let's go.
Oh, wait.
you got that right.
I don't like either of these teams, but give me the Vikings to win. Chargers don't look that good.
Yeah, Vikings minus 2.5 all day. Bet
All
that
day.
money line. Vikings. That stadium with the Chargers, they can't even field
It's a
their
neutral field.
It isn't. It might even be more of Vikings. I mean, you saw that game against the Packers when the Packers went into LA. It was
And
more
lost.
Packers fans.
I think this one.
Yeah, no, they did lose that week, but
There will be
not
more-
where I was going with that. But the Vikings, they travel almost as well as the Packers. They're going to go in. Should be a 50-50 game. It's going to be a loud crowd. Give me the Vikings all day.
Yeah, I think there'll be more Vikings fans there,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
All right, so we got Rams Cowboys up next, and I think the Rams are going to beat the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are shot out. They're done. And the Rams are on fire. They look fantastic.
Yeah.
Really good.
McVay figured something out. He's finally using Todd Gurley. The Rams are going to beat the Cowboys in which I think is America's game of the week.
Yes,
On
425. Yep, Fox.
So Troy Aikman will get to watch his
His team.
Cowboys lose.
Yeah. And that's the thing with the Rams. They've been playing amazing. Sean McVay's really figured it out. And it's kind of scaring me because they're in that wild card picture. If the Vikings lose to the Chargers, the Rams really have a good shot to go in and take that 6th seed. So I'm really rooting for the Cowboys here. I've never been such a big Cowboys fan up until this week. But man, dude, the Cowboys they're a terrible football team. They are a terrible football team. That is a terrible division.
I thought they were them boys, though.
They are not them boys this year.
That's not what I'm talking about.
I got to go with my brain over my heart. Give me the Rams minus 1.5.
See, I don't like the home underdogs. I don't like that. That
No?
scares me if I'm a betting man.
Especially in Jerry world.
In Jerry world, Cowboys are desperate. They need to win. They're way too talented. Give me the Cowboys.
Hope you're right.
I don't see there's any way that the Cowboys pull this off this week. I don't think they have what it takes. I do have the Rams coming out and squashing the Cowgirls this week.
All right, last game of the 4 o'clock window. No one will be quick with this. 49ers Falcons. 49ers favored by 11 points. Easy game.
I think the Falcons could start nobody at wide receiver this week with Ridley out, and I
Yep.
think Julio's still a little hampered.
Mhm.
So they're going to have any
At this point,
Joe
why
Schmo
risk the
out there.
contract, you know?
Yeah, so I think that the 49ers are going to go out there. They're just going to win again. They're going to stay, and that's in San Francisco.
Yep,
correct?
in San Francisco.
First game back home
Mhm.
in a while. They're going to win that game.
Yeah, give me the 49ers. Even with that spread being 11, I still like them in a big win.
Give me the 49ers win big. Shout out Gerrit.
Give me the 49ers. It's not even close.
All right, Sunday Night Football. Interesting game for
Sunday Night Football.
wild card implications.
Well,
The Buffalo Bills travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Pittsburgh favored 2 points. Interesting game, right?
Yeah, we're live here on Instagram. This is going to be on Instagram. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills in this game.
Yeah.
I think that Josh Allen is going to ball out on Sunday Night Football. His first time the Bills have been on Sunday Night Football in like 11 years.
Yep.
And I love the Steelers' defense. They've been one of my favorite teams to watch this year just because they're so old school. But I think that the Bills are going to win this game.
And the Steelers, they're a pretty good team. I mean, Mike Tomlin, Coach of the Year candidate. Their defense is playing well. But I don't know if I trust a guy named Duck Hodges in prime time,
Duck
8
Dynasty.
o'clock spot. Yeah,
He's 1-0 in prime time though.
Yes, he is. He is. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But the Steelers, they just don't look like a wild card team to me. They don't look like a playoff team. I just think the Bills have a better roster and a better quarterback, and even their defense is very comparable, if not on par with the Steelers' defense. Give me the Bills, +2. Yeah.
Go, Andrew.
Doug Hodges in prime time. Give me that. Give me the Steelers to win big.
Wow.
Big.
That defense.
Win big?
I think that defense abuses Josh Allen. All right, maybe not win big. All right,
The Bills have a good defense too.
Yeah, the Bills have a good defense. The Steelers, I think they'll just grind out a win at home. That defense is really good. I think they'll get over Josh Allen like the Ravens did last week, and I think the Steelers win.
I can't see how there's any way that the Bills aren't favored in this matchup. I have the Bills winning this week.
I think
Bills
James
Mafia.
Conner
Bills
and
Mafia.
Juju
Wanna go to the
Smith-Schuster
table?
might be
They might
back.
play. Okay, that'd be huge for them.
Yeah.
Maybe
Especially
for our
Juju,
next
'cause they have
segment.
nobody out wide with them.
So
And Monday Night Football. Final game.
Colts Saints -9. Saints just lost to the 49ers. Heartbreaker there.
Mhm.
Give me the Saints -9.
Yeah, rematch of Super Bowl 44, was it? I think it was 44.
Something like that,
45
yeah.
maybe. I think it was 44.
Damn good Super.
But that was one of the best Super Bowls I've ever been able to watch. And
That was
I have
2010.
Yeah, it was 2 years after the Giants. Yeah, it was 44.
Yeah.
And in Miami. And I think that it's going to be a repeat of history. The Saints are going to win that.
Yeah. Big. I don't like this Colts team at all. I think they've given up after the Titans and the Texans are looking running away with that division.
I got off at the last stop on the Jacoby Brissett hype train.
Yep.
Colts have been banged up. They haven't had T.Y. Hilton back in a while. Saints -9. Give me the Saints to win, but give me the Colts to cover.
I've got the Saints winning this week.
Who dat? Right? Some breaking news on this podcast. It might be done by tomorrow, but Anthony Rendon is close to signing with the Angels, as Pablo was saying, just about like 45 minutes ago.
Yep.
So,
What's your prediction on the contract?
contract, I think you were pretty accurate what you said, just slightly under 300 mil, around there.
Well, it depends
more
how
than
many years.
more than slightly. I think he gets 6 years. He's a little bit older. I don't think he wants to play too long with the team, and I do think he's
Really? You don't think he wants to play out? How many years
He
do you
just
think
got
it
his
is?
World Series ring.
I
He's
think
probably
six.
more focused on the money.
I think
at
he
this point,
lives out
living in LA.
lives out 6 years in LA.
I think Scott Boras tries to match or top Gerrit Cole's offer. My prediction: 6 years, $222 million.
Yeah, that's a pretty smart prediction. I mean,
Yeah.
6 to 25, that kind of range. That like over in between
about
30 and
37.
40.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
With
think that's-
222.
sounds about right.
So Rendon moving to LA, it seems.
Rendon moving to LA.
Yes, sir.
I'm happy about that. Get him out of the NL East. Jesus, that
Yeah.
guy just kills the Mets. His average, you look at all of his stats, it's probably the best team he plays against. It's ridiculous.
A lot of players too. A lot
Yeah,
of players
no,
seem
that's
to,
it.
to love.
I mean, if you really
facing,
look at it, they're going to have a lot of money on Rendon and Mike Trout when really
they need pitching,
they need pitching.
but there's no other like huge. I mean, the only guy they can go after is Ryu right now, or Mad Bump. I don't think Mad Bump. would
Well,
with the
I actually
Angels.
just saw a report. I don't want to, spend too much time on this. That they were actually in brief talks for Cleveland ace Corey Kluber, so that could be very interesting.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. We already did our baseball segment. Kind of like shot her a load earlier in the show.
Yeah.
Should have waited. But yeah, we gotta move on to our next segment. It seems, right? I mean,
Yep.
we gotta get to our wrestling segment.
That's it. This is the debut episode.
Debut of the WWE, AEW, whatever the hell you want to talk about, wrestling segment.
Yep.
So, what happened this week in the wrestling world?
Well, Steve, you want to start off?
I'll start off with the biggest news in wrestling. Seth Rollins finally freaking turned heel.
Oh my
It's
god!
about damn time.
Finally.
He was a horrible face. He was a terrible baby face. He didn't play the role well at all. So I think that him turning heel is the best thing to happen to WWE in months.
I think that Seth Rollins had go away heat. Nobody wanted to see this guy on TV. He has zero personality. He tries so hard to be likable, and I do think this pairing with AOP was genius.
Yeah, I think that AOP is the perfect muscle for a heel faction. They're scary looking. If they, I don't want to. It sounds kind of messed up, but I don't want to. Just because they don't speak English on the mic, it doesn't hold them back.
Well, that's something where I wish they would have came from NXT and just kind of thrown into a serious storyline. I do think when they were brought up, number one, they had lost their manager in NXT. They come up there with
I don't know
Dallas. What's his name?
He was a famous. I forget his goddamn name.
Formerly known as Rockstar Spud in TNA.
Oh, Drake Maverick.
Drake Maverick. I was gonna call him Dallas Maverick, but they were calling him AOPP, and I don't think that's a way you treat a talented muscle team like this.
I agree. I think this pairing will do wonders for Seth Rollins. I believe TLC is this weekend.
Yes,
and he doesn't have a match.
Steve, I'm actually off this weekend. I'm not sure if you want to get together and watch it. Yeah, sure. I actually.
I don't think it'll be a good pay-per-view, but
I don't think it's going to be a good pay-per-view. Look, you can't build a pay-per-view in less than a week. I don't see how you can build a pay-per-view in less than a week. Now, let me turn the tables to another newsworthy event in recent WWE. John Morrison, Johnny Nitro, Johnny Mundo, Johnny
about
Impact.
Damn time is all I can say about that. I'm so freaking happy he's back, and I would have liked to see him in AEW, but it is cool. 1 second, Zonak, what's going on? Okay, sorry that my producer is freaking out in the. I am happy to see John Morrison back in wrestling. That because I did not watch. I'll be honest, I didn't watch him in Lucha Underground.
Yeah,
I didn't watch him in TNA. Although I did like some of the stuff I heard he was doing on TNA, and his name was pretty cool. I'm happy he's in WWE, and I hope that they give him a run with his old music, the fan, the slow-mo, and I hope they give him some actual feuds. I think he has unfinished business there.
I'm going to stop you right there, Steven. I personally was very upset when I found out that...
You wanted him to go to AEW, correct?
AEW. I wanted 100% to see Johnny Elite. I think Johnny Elite, number one, that rolls off the tongue, and I do think he's a big name. He was big everywhere he went. He was big, with WWE in the past. But I do think a guy like John Morrison, I do think he's going to be wasted on a already stacked and talented WWE main roster. I think this guy is just going to be somebody who's showcased every week. You're just going to get tired of him. And I do think by a month and a half, you're just going to be forgetting about John Morrison.
Well, would you rather see Morrison on Raw, SmackDown, or NXT? Well, where do you think his talents will be utilized best?
NXT,
and I would love to see a Morrison Adam Cole feud.
Yes.
I think that would be great. I think a Morrison Ciampa, even though Ciampa's kind of a face now, and Morrison's never really been heel. He's never been like the dastardly heel. He's been like the sneaky, conniving heel, cheat to win, but not like the heel who's gonna leave you dead in a pile of blood, your own blood.
Well, I could kind of already see where they're going. John Morrison, I don't think he's going to Raw. I definitely don't think he's going to NXT.
I think he's going to SmackDown.
I think he's going to SmackDown, and I do think eventually WWE recycles another storyline and teams him up with The Miz again.
I really hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, but that's just something they would do. And to be honest, I think if he were on in AEW, I think number one, AEW, everything they have been doing has just been they've been on the money with almost everything. And I think a guy like John Morrison, they would take so seriously. And day one, walking into the door, he would be in the main event picture.
My thing with AEW that has been pissing me off a little bit is how they like to play off WWE a little too much.
Like what?
I like it better when they're in their own world. They kind of like ignore the WWE. I don't like how they mention a lot of the stuff that happens in WWE. And I don't like how we're talking about the Britt Baker thing, the Britt Baker challenge and stuff.
I really didn't think they should have paid too much attention to that.
I think they should just let it be. I mean, obviously we know Adam Cole.
It is a little weird though when you are watching NXT and you see somebody in the crowd, which I really don't think they were supposed to. I thought
it was weird that they put Britt Baker on NXT. I think that's more weird for WWE to do than for AEW.
It's weird because they're drawing
attention to the competition.
Yeah, to the competition.
Because Britt Baker is arguably she is the most popular female wrestler in AEW.
Well, that's the thing. AEW, obviously, I mean, you look at their talent compared to WWE's main talent. There's no competition. But just the way these guys are taken seriously, and I do think in AEW, if they had a stronger women's division, I think.
Well, that's where WWE beats them. The AEW women's division.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
I don't think AEW has anybody close to somebody like Rhea Ripley or somebody like Shayna Baszler.
There's almost nobody I care about in the AEW women's division besides Britt Baker.
Britt Baker, yeah, that's it.
There's nobody. I can't even really tell you anybody else. When was it Riho? When she won the title, I was like, who is this?
I personally don't think that somebody. Number one, I don't think that Nyla Rose should have been in the match if she was going to lose, especially her being so big and being such a monster heel. I don't think that she should have lost in her first match. I do think she should have been built up and then eventually challenged for that title and beat her.
Well, why does Awesome Kong come around like every random 6 months and then show up and beat people up and then go away? Like,
I don't think Awesome Kong has really had a match.
She hasn't, but she appeared in All Out or whatever.
Well, what Awesome Kong has been doing, she's been kind of doing.
She's
this,
like the muscle kind of.
Well, she's been with Brandy Rhodes, and now they have formed kind of like a faction, and I'm not sure like what they're doing, but what I do think is they're kind of like, to me, it's almost very similar to like the Straight Edge Society, where they're collecting hair, and I'm not sure if you watched last week's episode. It was supposed to be a fan. She was in the first row, and she pledged to like the association.
So it's kind of like Serena.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Society.
Serena. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they shaved their head bald, and I'm not sure what they're leading up to, but I do think.
Well, that sounds more interesting than anything they've done with the woman yet.
Yes, which it's crazy because they're not building off of talent in the ring. Mm-hmm. They're building off of something that's completely different.
Yeah. And I think that AEW just needs to focus on making more stars, because they've already used the Jericho Cody match, and that's your big match. That's your WrestleMania match. That's the main event of whatever your WrestleMania is, which I guess would be All Out right now.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that now it looks like they're going with Moxley Jericho.
But
after that, what is there? They don't really have another star after Moxley, Jericho, Cody.
They don't.
So maybe you turn Sammy Guevara, or you hope MJF becomes that star. It looks like he's that next.
I think MJF is the next superstar in that company, but I do think they are definitely planting seeds for Jon Moxley.
Mm-hmm. Well, they already started it kind of. Like you see on Instagram, they're pushing the narrative that Moxley's the next challenger
on the lexicon Jericho. Of Le Champion.
Yeah.
Jericho debuted.
See, I didn't like that either. I didn't like how they called back to the list.
I do kind of like that though. I do kind of like it because it's not what's the word? In WWE, there's certain things you can't do. Mm-hmm. In AEW, I'm pretty sure they give Chris Jericho a lot more freedom to do with his character.
But Jericho's character is fantastic. Jericho is by far, Jericho and Cody are the best things about AEW.
That's it.
And Moxley's cool too.
And MJF.
MJF is too. But dude, Jericho is amazing on AEW right now. He has knocked every single thing he's done out of the park. And his match with Cody was one of my favorite matches of the whole year. And same thing with that pay-per-view with Cody, Full Gear. And even the Moxley Omega match was fantastic. I guess Omega's your other star.
Exactly. I was just going to say that.
You got it.
They haven't even really showcased Omega.
Yeah, Omega's been the one cast. He's been like the ugly stepchild right now.
But if you really look at Jon Moxley and the way they're setting things up, he's almost like their version of Brock Lesnar. Not in terms of, size and look, but in terms of just being complete dominant. Moxley has looked stronger than anybody in that company. I don't think
he's lost at all.
He hasn't lost.
He's tied, but I mean, that's time limit. But all right, so quick to end the wrestling segment, give me a bold prediction for TLC.
Bold prediction for TLC? To be honest, I think the Bray Wyatt match versus the Miz, I think that ends up being the best match of the night.
I think so. That is probably the one match I am excited for.
I'm excited for it. Number one, I'm super excited because that stupid red light is gone. I can't tell you. Yeah. Well, I'm assuming it's going to be gone because it's going to be Bray Wyatt.
You're right.
It's not going to be the Fiend. It's not going to be the Fiend versus the Miz.
I didn't even put the two together.
I honestly, I think they've kind of.
You wrestle in the sweater vest and everything. That's going to be pretty cool.
I don't know. I kind of think they've kind of like.
They have to, yeah.
I think they've killed the Fiend character. Like, I really don't care too much about him because we see him every week doing the same crap.
He's still the best thing about that company to me right now. He's by far the character I care most about, and the best character in the company by far. Not counting NXT.
I think he's the most talented guy, in character-wise, but I just don't care about the Fiend Bray Wyatt.
So you think that'll be the best match?
I think that's gonna be the best match, and I do think that Bray Wyatt not being the Fiend character is gonna be able to showcase a lot of his charisma and talent in the ring.
My bold prediction is that Seth Rollins will leave his impact on the show in a huge way. And I don't know any more information than that.
What's Seth Rollins even doing this Sunday?
There's no match. They haven't announced it yet, which would be weird if they give him a match. I mean, I think the main event is the women's tag team titles.
Steve, imagine going to a pay-per-view
with your number one superstar without a match.
Well, just imagine hey, Dad, Do you want to go to the show? Oh yeah. What's the main event? Oh, I don't know. What are the matches on the show? I don't know. I don't understand. I really do think they need to take a page out of AEW and only have a handful of
They have to
pay-per-views
cut
in the
down
whole year.
easily, but there's so
Number
much
one.
money to be made for them and for the network. I agree with that, but that is my bold prediction. Seth Rollins and the Authors of Pain leave their mark and they further their storyline and Seth Rollins' heel turn, whether they interfere in... I don't even know what the Raw match would be. I mean, I guess
I don't know the whole card,
yeah.
Steve. So whatever you're
I don't
saying,
even think
I'm
there's
just shaking my head.
there's no Raw matches, but they're gonna do something that makes the card and is memorable to turn the page and get us onto the road to the Royal Rumble.
Well, I think it's a very good time to be a wrestling fan, but it's just something we're gonna have to see how TLC plays out and expect an announcement of a new pay-per-view. I do expect for it to be announced in the New York area.
New York area.
Yep.
Well, there's Elimination
I'm
Chamber.
I'm talking about AEW.
Oh,
Yes.
I hope so. And
Yes.
then, during WrestleMania
Steve,
weekend.
definitely.
WrestleMania weekend. You think it's gonna be
WrestleMania weekend
AEW?
No.
Hey, it's gonna be around there though.
around there, maybe 2 weeks before. I don't think they want to have anything to do
They
with
want
that
to. They want
WrestleMania.
to sell MSG out.
ready-
That's what they want.
Absolutely, and
And
Steve,
they
we're
could.
gonna be there.
Oh, we'll be front row.
I'm gonna buy tickets the first week.
Yeah.
The second they're dropped, I'm gonna have a notification on my phone. We're going.
AEW MSG before the score will be there. But that's all we got for the wrestling segment.
Shout out Keith Lee. That dude's a beast.
Keith Lee is my boy.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's good.
That's
That's all I got on
So
that.
we'll bring it back in here to the rest of us, all four of us. And welcome back. How was your break?
I didn't go anywhere. I've been here the entire time.
Quiet
Just
as-
soaking in all the information
quiet as a
about
church mouse.
AEW,
We're just learning.
WWE.
Our producer's own act
Our
went
producer's
somewhere,
own act.
but we won't say that on camera.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode.
See what we're wrapping this up now?
Yeah.
All right. So this is the first episode of Before the Score.
Yeah, I
right?
hope you enjoyed it.
Last bold prediction: Whip Merrifield to the New York Yankees.
Last bold prediction: Rendon to the Angels
That's not that
by
bold.
tonight.
By tonight. Well, by tonight would technically be tomorrow. So you're
When
like,
you're listening to this, Rendon would be an Angel.
you want to go?
I got nothing with the bold predictions, but just enjoyed the first podcast. To many more, guys.
Yeah, bold prediction is that I hope you guys will come back and listen next week for episode 2.
Next time you see me, I'll be wearing my Mets Starling Marte jersey.
That's Before the Score. Back to you, Zonak. Take us home.